And we're live from the 313 and the 404. It's episode 144 of the Everybody Mad Live podcast. This is Thursday. It's May the 9th. It's also the third podcast we've done the whole damn year. I was looking at that today. We used to do a podcast every single week. We've done two the whole 2024. This is the third one. We did podcasts for every week for 3 years. Every single week for 3 years. That's how we got 140 something episodes. But now this is 144, the third one of the year. But we're glad to be here on this Thursday, May 9th. Also, the 1205th day of the Biden administration. And it's May. So it's also Mental Health Awareness Month, Military Appreciation Month. And this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. My name is Said Lover. How you doing?
What's up? I'm Kenya Kabine. Really appreciate you all checking us out. We got a great show lined up for you all as always. Thank you so much for following us on Instagram. You could also follow us on our social media pages like Facebook, and we're also on YouTube. We're live right now, streaming on YouTube, so make sure that you spread the word and let everybody know. Sam, brother, first of all, it's good to see you, man, because I haven't even seen you in a minute. It's crazy, too, because like Seth and I, because we do the podcast, we talk every week, right? But we haven't really talked for a long time either, because a lot of stuff's been going on in your life, stuff's been going on in my life. And when people say, well, why haven't you done the podcast? Well, we've been lifing. We're doing adult things. We're adulting and we're lifing right now. That's pretty much what's going on.
Yep, life has put the podcast on the back burner. I'm always happy to hear people missed us while we were out, so that's helpful. But I did experience a little bit of loss in my family. Throughout my family, there were several people, including my father, passed. So that was part of the reason why I know we were out. I know I was out. So that was in late January and kind of leading into February. Some other stuff kind of happened and all that. So, yeah, here we are. But things have kind of mellowed out a little bit for me in May, and thankfully the weather's warming up so I can be outside too.
Yeah, how's it looking up there in Detroit right now? How's the weather? Is it?
It's decent. We had almost 80 degrees today. It's down to 50. Like this is the time where we get those 30, 40 degree swings. It'll be 70, 80 degrees during the day, and then maybe 50 degrees at night. So that's kind of what it is now. But it's the springtime in Detroit, so I am looking forward to it. It's to me, like Detroit is best, like after April, between April and about September, like the spring and summertime. Yeah, that's when Detroit is at its best because the weather's not an impediment and everybody's doing stuff, like everybody outside. So I'm ready to be outside on this. Yeah. I'm ready to do the show too because again, this is our third show in 2024. It don't seem like it's been that few, but it has been. But I'm excited to be back because we got a whole lot of stuff to talk about on episode 144 of the Everybody Mad podcast. I know we're certainly going to update people on the Trump's legal battles, what's going on. One of his trials has been postponed. He has 4 trials. One of them got postponed indefinitely. So we'll give you an update on what's going on with Trump. Plus, we're going to tell you a little bit about Detroit, since this is my city. We came together and canceled Brown McKnight, and I'll tell you a little bit about how that happened later on in the show.
Yeah, well, also, too, we're going to talk about what's going on with your boy Jim Jones. He's been laying low lately until recently he just went viral for a video where he was actually fighting some dudes in the airport. But we got the story, and we're going to tell you what's going on with that. Plus, we're going to take a look at Diddy's latest video message. Since this year, we've only done 2 shows. We really haven't had a chance to talk about Diddy, but we will talk about him and delve into what's going on with him and his latest video message. Plus, stick around because we got 2 Everybody Mad live debates. We're going to weigh in on this viral sensation of a black male teacher getting his hair braided by his class. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to cover the controversy.
We're just doing anything, ain't we?
I know, right? I know. Then we're going to talk about what's going on with Shawnee O'Neal's husband, Pastor Keon. There was a situation that went down in his church, so we're going to tell you all about that.
Yep, and we got we finally remember back last year, one of the viral videos of the year, the Montgomery Riverfront Brawl. And there was one hero. It was a 16-year-old Black Aquaman, but we haven't heard from him yet. Mm-hmm. He has finally said something. So he's been on the interview. So we'll show you some of that interview and how he broke his silence. But nothing stops right there. We want you to be a part of the conversation right here. So the link is there. Everybody Mad Podcast. You can find us on Linktree or just comment inside of your Facebook, comment inside your YouTube, wherever you are watching us live, so you can share your opinions. So now let's get ready. Get informed. Get involved. It's time for Everybody Mad.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and jump into everything. You know, we like to do a lot of things. We like to cover entertainment. We also like to talk about what's going on in the world politically. And we like to do that first because we like to get the serious stuff out first. But let's talk about what's going on with these classified documents case revolving around Donald Trump. A federal judge in Florida just hit the pause button on a criminal trial of him that was scheduled to kick off on May 20th. This trial was set to unveil Trump's alleged antics with classified national security records post-White House. But hold your horses, because U.S. District Judge Aline Cannon just dropped the bombshell that they were pushing back the start date and leaving us all hanging until July 22nd. So the question is, will Trump face the music before the November elections? Right now is anyone's guess. Seb, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
It's kind of crazy. Part of this is that makes it crazy for me is that the judge who postponed this trial is also a judge that was put into her position by Trump when he was president. So it's one of those things. It certainly sounds like a conflict of interest to me for her even to be a part of this. I think they were talking about the conflict even before she even got the trial. They were talking about the possibility of her not being very kind of or being to one side because the guy who's on trial is the guy who helped her get her job or whatever. So it's been one of those things, and we just kind of expected all those things to kind of materialize with her, and that's one of the reasons why people don't have faith in the court system and legal system and that sort of thing now, because depending on who you are, the rules might change for you.
Yeah.
If you got a little bit of money, you may get more ability to maintain your freedom or get a better hand dealt being to you inside of the courthouse. So it's a sucky sort of situation that we're in, but here we are. That's why it's always important to vote, because it affects everything. Even if we're not thinking about it at the moment, it'll eventually affect us. Somewhere down the line, it's going to be some sort of root of some sort of action that didn't or did happen in relation to voting.
Yeah. And said, I remember when we even talked about when Trump appointed this woman as a judge, and she wasn't even qualified.
Wasn't qualified. Had never had a case.
Never had a case, but she still got into that position and no one checked them on the situation. And I think that's the situation that's been happening. And we've seen with Trump is that he just kind of goes unchecked, like no one ever says anything. Or no one saying anything because there's people that's being paid under the table. Let's just call a spade a spade. That's probably what it is. So
you know, everybody's saying to get some money or some sort of benefit from being silent.
And then we all suffer as Americans on what's going on, you know. So it's just really unfortunate. But if that wasn't enough drama for you, we got to talk about this hush money case that's going on right now. Because as we all know, Trump, he's in hot water again, as the judge has actually slapped him with contempt charges for the 10th time, not the 9th, not the 8th, but the 10th time. Now, I don't think he's ever going to learn. This is the case surrounding Stormy Daniels. You know, she's at the center of this right here. She's a former porn star. Things are heating up in the courtroom, but the kicker is that despite this chaos and controversy, Trump is still the Republicans Party golden boy for the next presidential race, neck and neck, President Biden in the polls. You know, what's your thoughts? What do you think about this right here? Because we want to hear from you. We want people to jump in on this conversation right here. What's your thoughts on what's going on right now with Trump? And do you think that he could possibly be the next president?
Yeah, I think anything's possible. I think I'm going to doubt that he wins just because I don't think he's growing his base of supporters, and you're going to need people to vote for you. But like 2016 showed us, anything can happen. Even when there's a highly favored front runner against somebody who has flaws, that flawed person end up winning in 2016. Turns around 8 years later, that flawed person is knocking on the door again, trying to get back into office. And it's not to help the country. It's to really save himself from any sort of prosecution and going to jail and that sort of thing or whatever. So, I mean, my choice is clear. I'm not voting for someone who wants a position just to save themselves from criminality or from jail or whatever. I want somebody who's going to fix the issues that's wrong with America, because we're a great country, but there's a whole lot wrong with the country that no one's really kind of paying attention to, and we utilize the government for those sort of issues or whatever. But just one of those things up and down about America. Like if this was anybody else, Trump would have been in jail. Who gets to be in contempt of court 10 times in that same trial?
I know, right?
And not be in jail.
Right. And, like we all have our reasons why we would. I'm not voting for him because he did incite an insurrection. We can't forget about the Capitol riots that happened, and just for everything that he stands for. But he's done so much and it's going unchecked. And I mean, he still has so many court cases against him. So it's just amazing to me that people are still, pro-Trump. But that's what we're living in right now. Like that's the day and age that we're living in right now. Like, despite him being wrong and doing stuff, just going under the radar and not doing what he's supposed to be doing, people are still voting for him. People still
they say this year he's going to get a higher percentage of the black vote. I think maybe
that's beyond insane to me.
I know. I think maybe he got like a little bit less than 10% of the African American vote when he ran the first time. They say he may be approaching 20% of the African American vote, and then that to me would be disappointing, because but to me it would just show how low we've fallen in our ability as Americans to really understand kind of politics and government and what people mean to us and what harm people mean, because we all know that the news is not going to tell us the whole story or the story that we need to tell. And really, truth be told, the media likes Trump. Whether or not they like him as a person or not, they like him as the entity of Trump, because that gives them news, that gives them stories, that gives them eyeballs. Okay. So they like that. So they continue to talk about him without telling a lot of the truth in what's going on with him, about all the unprecedented things that he's doing that should not be allowed, but we're allowing it and just watching him do it or whatever. Anybody else would have been gone by now, but we just continue to placate him and it's just Trump. He's just doing Trump things or whatever. But when you do Trump things and they're also illegal, you should have to weigh yourself against the government and be subject to those penalties with that. You should be in jail. You should be fined. You should have all these things going against you, but he's not. So time will tell. This is postponed. They're not going to have the first hearing until July, which means he's probably not going to have this case hit before the election. Stormy Daniels, that case will probably have some sort of ruling before the election. But there's another two that are up in the air. I know with Fannie Willis and that particular case, they're trying to remove her from the actual case. So that particular case has slowed down, because right now they're trying to determine if she's going to be the prosecutor going forward with that. So it's so much going on that is allowed with Trump that no one else gets that leeway to. And I don't know I don't know why people still like that. To me, like if someone's doing something that if I did, I would get penalized for it, I'm not going to like you for the fact that you get to do it without penalty. No, I'm going to want you to have the consequences that I would have, because that's only fair.
Absolutely. And I think that it's going to set a bad example. Like, what's the example that you're going to set for the younger generation, for kids, when they say, okay, this is someone that has done wrong, but he's gotten away with it. So if he can do it, I can do it. It's like you're setting the wrong example. So I think that people need to think about that too. How's that going to affect our country as far as with the youth? So
straight up, and as much as you let him do, like, there's going to be a second person that tries to do some of the same things. And maybe they're smarter than him. And maybe they can, because one of the things that's kind of tripping him up is that he's kind of an idiot. He talks too much. He likes to say what he wants to say. And he's not really calculated in a lot of stuff. But if you have someone that was a little bit smarter, a little bit more calculated in some of the things that they can do, just imagine what sort of damage they could do, because we're allowing him to do so much criminal stuff without any sort of consequence or whatever. But
well, we want to jump in on this conversation right here at Everybody Mad Live Podcast. You could also follow us too on Instagram and Facebook at Everybody Mad. All right. So right now it's time for the debate. And this is interesting right here, Sid, because when I saw this right here, I'm going to tell you, I fell out laughing. I thought it was hilarious. But let's shift to this debate topic right here. It's a controversy right now surrounding Pastor Keon Henderson. He's the husband of none other than basketball wife star Shawnee O'Neal. He's finding himself in the hot seat after he snapped on a woman in the congregation this past Sunday during a church service. And this is his church out in Houston, right, Sid?
Yeah, he's in Houston.
Yeah, so let's watch the video. Then we're going to talk about it. But I'm telling you, I died laughing when I saw it. I don't know why it tickled me so much. But anyway, y'all check this out.
You hearing?
Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus. I lift my hands into the only voice I want heard is his. So praise.
Yeah, so that's what went down. Now he made an appearance with his wife. First of all, before we show this clip of Tamron, because he was on Tamron talking about why he did what he did. Sam, what was your thoughts when you initially saw that? Did you think that he was right, or did you think that he was wrong for what he did? Because I know that you're in the mix of the church. So you've seen a lot. Like I don't go to church like that often, even though Father, sinners have souls too. But I'm just saying, but I'm still a good person, and spiritually, my heart is right, even though I don't
love Jesus.
But I know Jesus. But Sam, what's your take on this right here, brother? Because when I saw it, I was like, damn, like what if she was really feeling the Holy Ghost? What if she was all into it? But what's your take on this?
I guess.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the way people and the spirit is displayed, I think it varies from person to person. Some people laugh, cry, scream, holler like she does, whatever. Like so I think it can kind of manifest itself in a lot of different ways or whatever. I don't know what she was feeling. I can't say that she was in spirit or not within the spirit or whatever, because I try not to judge anybody in their own sort of walk with Christ and that sort of thing. So who knows what she was feeling at that particular time when she did it or whatever. But I was thinking, my initial thoughts, she's too loud. It was just way too much going on in where she was. And it was like she was the only one at that level. Like everyone else was down around about a 2 or 3 or whatever in their whatever in their praise and worship. She was at like a 13, 14, 15. She was all the way up there or whatever. And that was my initial thought, is that like, who is that hollering like that? So case in point, I heard the hollering. I wasn't paying attention to what Pastor was saying, because all I heard was the hollering. Oh! Yeah. So like in my mind, you done got me out of the spirit, because I'm trying to see, okay, who is that? Do you need some help? Is anyone near you to help you? And that sort of so it breaks your concentration or your focus out of what it should be on, which is kind of what Pastor was saying at that particular point. Like he wants the only voice in that room to be heard is people being able to focus and concentrate on God. So once he said what he said, I kind of agreed with him, because I was saying like, yeah, that was way too, yeah. And like, mind you, I'm a person like I want people to be able to freely express their praise, however it manifests, and like whatever that looks like, that's what it looks like for you or whatever. But also you have to understand is like, sometimes you have to understand when you're in a corporate environment, such as church, it's not your own personal church. You're not there with just you and God or whatever. It's a whole body of other people there who are there also to gain something from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So like if you hollering all in the background, I am definitely not focused on God. I ain't focused on what Pastor's saying. I'm looking at you to see what sort of reaction that you have and see how long you're gonna do it or whatever. Because clearly somebody hollering like that is going to get your attention.
Well, he has something to say, and he was actually on Tamron Hall show a couple of days ago with his wife, Shawnee O'Neal, and here's what he had to say.
Oop, that ain't the right one. Hold on. There we go.
Hear her making audible sounds. You turn around, you say, that hush.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, don't ma'am me. I always tell people a snippet of video is not the total story. Yeah. So tell me what happened there.
Well, you know, social media is into cuts, not context.
Yeah.
And every suggestion that I got from every naysayer, I've already done. This is a 4-year battle, right?
Oh, this is ongoing.
This is ongoing. So I've already talked to her personally. I'd already had ushers go up to her. I've already had prayer warriors. I've had everything. So she did it publicly after being asked not to.
What is she? Is she crying? Is an emotional?
Well, you know, as a pastor, I know the difference between disturbance and worship. And what people have to understand, is that every time you hear a noise in church, it isn't worship. And so there has to be order. For instance, it's okay to applaud in this room right now. But if somebody got up and just started clapping right now, I'm sure somebody would bring order to the room. Yeah. And so what I did is I brought order to the room so people could hear God and not her. And I'd do it again if I needed to.
Wow.
He stood on business with that too. Like, he really stood on business with that.
I mean, and it's a good and kind of what I was saying too. Like, you, lady, it's too much. Yes, we want you to praise. Yes, you can worship God or whatever. But like, do you have to do it at that level to where like now like you are not being kind of conducive to everyone else who's also there. I'm sure that and it's a big church, higher dimension church. It seats 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, whatever. So it's a large church, and if you holler like that, ain't nobody focus. It's all about you. And then too, it sounds like she's one of those worshipers, and like I almost thought about like you ain't that big into gospel music like that or whatever. But there was a song back in the late 80s by Shirley Caesar. It's called Hold My Mule. But it was about kind of like the same thing about she told a story about John. He was a farmer, but they called him Shouting John because Shouting John always shout wherever he got in whatever church or whatever, he gonna shout in the church or whatever. And I guess that particular church didn't like him shouting all the time and dancing all the time in the church or whatever. So eventually, like, he found somewhere else to go or whatever like that, or because no one, I guess the moral of that song and that story was no one, not even the church and the pastor, can stop your praise. However, taking it back to kind of where we are now, I think it's a little bit differently now because Shirley Caesar's song didn't talk about someone who was trying to get the attention of people or whatever. It was talking about someone who's trying to seek God, and whatever he was going to do, he's going to praise God for that, whatever. This seems a little bit different, particularly if it's been something to where people have said something to you multiple times. The pastor done talk to you, the ushers done talk to you, the ministers done talk to you, and you still gonna decide that you're gonna holler like that when they've already told you that it's a distraction to the other.
And for 4 years too. This has been going on. He said for 4 years. So my thing is, then why is she up like with the choir? Like, shouldn't she just, I don't know. I mean,
a lot of churches, like, they don't stop you from serving ministry and that sort of thing, whatever. And then a lot of churches they'll try and give you opportunities when there are some things that need to be corrected. They'll talk to you about what those corrective actions are and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's strange, but baby girl do need to find another church at this point. Your pastor that went on Tamron Hall and talked about you.
Yeah, I bet she is.
Like 4 years, you need to find another church because you can't even show your face in there no more because you are the lady the pastor was talking about on Tamron Hall's show about you hollering too much in there. But the other thing too, pastors are supposed to be like the Bible compares kind of like that relationship between pastors and congregants to like sheep and shepherds. Same thing as Jesus and that sort of thing. So like your shepherd is supposed to lead the sheep because sheep are not the most smartest creatures or whatever. Sometimes they need to be herded into the right direction or told not to do things and like so. Like you have so the pastor is the shepherd and the congregant is the sheep. But if your shepherd is out there talking about you won't listen to me, I've been trying to tell him for 4 years and then went on a national talk show about you or whatever, then like I don't think the pastor relationship, the pastor congregate relationship really exists no more. So she's gonna have to find another church.
Yeah, she sure is. Let us know your thoughts. She never would have made it at Joel Osteen's church.
Never would have made it.
What's up, cuz? That's my cuz checking us out. Okay, I was wondering who that was. I couldn't see. Okay, so my cuz checking us out. He said, yeah, it was definitely quiet time. It was, cuz. I totally agree with you. We love when people leave their comments, too. Definitely chime in with us. You could join in with the chat that you see, and you could also go live with us, too. We love when people go live with us. And it rarely happens, but, I mean, today I think this will be the perfect time to go live, especially with the other debates that we have coming up later on in the show, too. So continue to follow us at Everybody Mad Live Podcast. Don, what's up, homie? Miss you, brother. Okay, so let's see. Jim Jones. Yo, did you see what went down with him? Okay, so Jim Jones, you know, he's a hip-hop icon. He's been in the game for a long time. Still ain't married. His girlfriend of, 20-something years, Chrissy. You know, people still talk about that all the time. But anyway, he found himself in the middle of a shocking altercation at the airport. Just imagine, like, you just going down the escalator, and then you just see Jim Jones fighting 2 white dudes. Well, that's what happened. We got video and the receipts. Check it out and we'll talk.
Bro, he said, I'm going back up there.
At the escalator, arrivals, lower level. Hey!
You're jumping?
Knock it off! Knock it off!
My friend.
Knock it off!
It's 2 of them against me.
Knock it
You
off!
hurt my friend. You fucking hurt my partner. You hurt my friend. You okay, Jimmy? Let's come to the corner with it. They're jumping me.
Yo! Sit down. Sit down. You're not
See? He assaulted me. He assaulted me. They both assaulted me.
Go sit down.
They both assaulted me.
Your ass down. I don't fucking care. Sit your ass down now.
What the fuck did I just say to you?
They both
Sit your ass
assaulted me.
down.
You guys have gloves or first aid?
You're not listening.
So that's all we know. See, this is how it went down. Damn, Jim Jones handled him, though.
I ain't never seen somebody get suplex off of a escalator.
Okay.
A wrestling move.
Damn, man.
And that old white man caught a stray. I'm like, I'm
shit.
minding my business, and somebody falls on top of me. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, but I am applauding Jim Jones for doing exactly what the police said.
Sit down.
Go sit down. He went to go sit down. He didn't cause any further disturbance on that. I think too, they just announced that he's not going to be charged.
Yeah, no charges are going to be held against Jim Jones in this situation right here. And we don't know exactly what caused the fight. I'm sure it's eventually going to come out. I saw that he did do a video just saying that he was okay, but he still didn't explain exactly what caused the situation for the 2 guys to jump on him the way that they did. But as soon as we find out, of course, we're going to keep you updated. But again, just Jim Jones, you know, he pleaded self-defense. No charges against him. We'll follow this story and keep you all updated on what goes down.
I was looking the same thing. Them steps hurt. Yeah. They was.
Yeah.
A couple of them was bloody after that point. Yeah. That'll teach you not to be racist towards people in the airport who you don't know, because I'm pretty sure looking at the assailants that they didn't know who Jim Jones was, and just randomly picked a moment, and I guess they FA and FO'd.
They said something to him to set him off like that, though, because, I mean, he's a celebrity that has too much to lose. So It's not like he's looking for a fight. So I'm sure whatever they did, whatever they said, it could have been racist. It was just something.
Like I did hear him calling them an effing racist in the video when they were kind of brawling towards the bottom of the escalator. It sounded like I heard somebody say racist or whatever. So I'm imagining that has some sort of connection to it. whatever. But good for Jim Jones to defend himself and to not be because we know how those situations happen a lot of times when there are sort of interracial sort of brawls and things like that. The black man always usually gets the heavier hand when dealing with police and that sort of thing. But I'm glad Jim sat on down and let the police kind of finish things out so it didn't escalate beyond where it was.
Follow us at Everybody Mad Live Podcast. Also, shouts out to everybody checking us out live right now on YouTube. So let's talk about your boy Brian McKnight. Now, we've talked about Brian McKnight before on the show. You know, it's no secret, but we know that he's been going through it with his kids a lot lately. You know, like these accusations have been flying left and right about his refusal to acknowledge his older children from his first marriage, and tensions are running high. But Brian, we talked about it because Seth and I, we know what's going on behind the scenes. Brian McKnight's kids, the adult kids, being extremely spoiled, and they're very entitled. And that's really why Brian McKnight has cut them off. So he should have left it at that. But what happened recently was that within the past week, he came out and he labeled his kids, his own flesh and blood, product of sin. And that completely pissed people off. And people were like, okay, like, we were kind of on the fence with you because, we can understand your kids were spoiled because Brian did some calm videos explaining, the whole backstory with his kids. But when he said that they were product of sin, people were like, okay, you's really a deadbeat daddy. Like people really not feeling him because of that one statement right there. In addition to the fact that the first mother of his children was a black woman, and he's not accepting and claiming these kids that he had by this black woman, but all his new kids by this, I think she's a Hawaiian woman or something. He claims them. So people not feeling that, especially black women. And the reality is Brian McKnight's core audience, black women.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they not feeling him. But anyway, people, they finally said they've had enough, and the folks that really decided to cancel him was Detroit. Your city said he tried to do a show up in Detroit, and the show got canceled.
He sure did. And I had been wondering because the show's been on the books probably since the beginning of the year. Because I think I was probably looking for my PTO to see what shows I might want to go to and what days I'm gonna take off and that sort of thing, trying to figure out my life. So I saw the show, and it was at one of the casinos. We have 3 casinos here. It was at Motor City Casino, and they have a concert venue there. So it was going to be there. I had seen it for quite some time, but maybe a couple of weeks ago, I'm not sure if it was because tickets were not selling well or whatever, but Motor City Casino messed around and they boosted that Facebook post. So now they started buying ads and promoting the show a little bit more. Oh, now people found out that Brian McKnight is coming to Detroit. And he was coming to Detroit, and then people saw all the things, and you saw the comments all up under the post. I should have screenshotted it at the time, but I didn't. But a lot of people was like, "Oh, I ain't going to that show if he paid me to go." Somebody commented, "I'll go to the show if he bring his kids to the show." So it was just all sorts of just backlash that he was having from that. So I think combine the backlash with the low ticket sales and that sort of thing, the promoter of the concert eventually canceled the show about a week ago, canceled the show, and is going to give everyone refunds for their purchase or whatever. But you just can't do like being like I get that you don't want to at some point you got to cut your kids off and just make sure that your adults are fully functioning adults and that sort of thing. But there's also a case to where why are you demeaning them and belittling them in public? All this stuff should have stayed with you or whatever. So once he got outside and all this stuff, and then too, I blame him. Like, your kids may not be grateful. Yeah, they may be entitled. A lot of kids in this generation are like that or whatever. Number one. Number two, you their daddy. So, at some point while they was growing up, you should have placed some sort of mechanisms in place to where that sense of entitlement was lessened as they grew older. But like something you did or something you manifested as their father enabled them to become the human beings that they are. Like they just didn't become entitled just because they're entitled. You did something good, bad, or indifferent that brought them to that particular sort of space. Number one. Number two, you procreated to have them. So to call them products of sin, you said sin too. We all products of sin. Most likely, many of us are born out of wedlock and that sort of thing. But we don't refer to our kids as products of sin and that sort of thing. Whatever. Like we know that they have potential and things like that. So like just to kind of say those things about your own biological children. As opposed to saying that about some other children who are not biologically yours or whatever. That kind of rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that his show got canceled. Like, I hope nothing good comes to him from all of this. Just because I know what it's like to have like the absence of kind of like that parent in your corner and being that advocate for you and things like that. Sure, they should not be entitled and that sort of thing, but there are different ways in which you can handle that or whatever. And all this public stuff that came out with that's his own causing. That's his own doing.
Yeah, I don't know, Sid. I feel like I kind of, we're getting ready to play. A lot of people are chiming in, right? Tyrese is one of them, and I was kind of agreeing with Tyrese. I think we'll play this video and then we'll talk. But Tyrese has something to say. Well, actually, first we'll play Ricky Smiley because Ricky Smiley commented talking about. Well, you all just watch this right here and then we'll talk.
Oh, sorry.
I just want to say to Brian McKnight, kids, to all of his kids, the ones that he said that's born out of evil or born in evil, whatever he said, whatever he claims, or whatever, let you know that you have a lot of support out here. We here at the Ricky Smiley Morning Show support you. If anybody get this message out to Brian McKnight, 2 sons and daughter.
Thinking about going solar, but not sure whether it's
pretty much Ricky Smiley saying, okay.
You are always welcome to the state of Alabama, to the great state of Alabama, where you have men and you have uncles and you have a lot of people in Birmingham that take on kids that have been abandoned by fathers. I've seen a lot of it, even with watching Little League football coaches that spend their own time, money, and resources into trying to make sure that the kids have everything they need. But I know that y'all are older. But y'all,
you're grown ass people.
Any kind of way, or you feel unloved and need male figure, father figure, there's people out here like myself, and I know I can vouch for my brother from another mother, Ben Crump and others. We would be more than happy to have you. You are not thrown away. You are not garbage. You are loved. You are to be respected. And there's a lot of group of men out here waiting to stand with you and make sure you have everything that you need. We are not here to try to replace your father, which that can't be done, but we can be something to you. To just make sure you go on into your adulthood and live your life and get you the help and therapy that you need so that you can move on, because words hurt.
Well, that's good. So Ricky Smiley's, saying, okay, I'm going to take care of 3 grown-ass adults. And that's, Ricky, I'm shocked, first of all, that Ricky Smiley say something like that, but hey,
I almost want to say I think Ricky had a problem with one of his kids, but that ain't none of my business.
That's why I'm surprised. I'm just kind of surprised, but maybe because of the passing of his son, maybe he's changed. I don't know, but
maybe so.
It just kind of seems like But anyway, so Tyrese jumped into the whole situation, and here's what he had to say.
Of course he did. Of course Tyrese got something to share.
Address is I want to talk to my brother Ricky Smiley, and I want to say to you that it is unfair in my grown man opinion to say that that man and his ex-wife and the mother of his kids, which are now grown adults, past 30 years old, whatever their specific dynamic is, there's a bunch of things that has been said and done over the years that is nobody's business that has contributed to where they are. This is not fair to say, well, they my kids, or they grown, they adults, and so I ain't gonna ever turn my back on my kids. But man, kids out here be saying some fucked up shit, bruh. Kids out here be crossing you and doing and saying and going above and beyond to cross you. I do not know what that man and that woman or his kids or anything about anything. Like, I literally know Brian. I have not had one conversation with Brian McKnight about his wife, his kids, or anything that went down between them, nor is it my business, nor is it my place to ask him, what happened, man? What's going on? This and that. None of my business. What I am addressing and talking about is I feel like it is not fair to act as if relationships between men and their children that at some point become adults can't fall apart, can't become extremely volatile and toxic. Listen, man, I know dudes that are in.
So that's pretty much what he had to say. And Tyrese got dragged. And Tyrese got dragged because y'all don't like him. Don't shoot the messenger.
He got dragged, yeah.
Because had it come from someone else, I'm telling you, had it come from anyone else, everybody would have been like, you know what? That's true. But because it was Tyrese, y'all dragged him, and now y'all trying to cancel Tyrese because he's on the Brian McKnight bandwagon. I'm just saying, just listen to what he said. If it was someone else, if it was anyone else, I don't think y'all would have had that same reaction. But anyway,
I would have. Sure, it didn't matter. Like the words that he said about his children, like those, like publicly. I don't know I don't know what's happened privately. Like Tyrese said, like there's a little bit of common sense to Tyrese, which is surprising. But there is some things that I agree with him on that point or whatever. But like where I depart from him is that like a parent is always going to protect their children or whatever. So when Brian McKnight went into the public sphere and began speaking those things about his children, because it's not like his kids were throwing all that stuff back at him or even initiated that back. Like these harsh words came from Brian's side or whatever. So, and like to me, like these kids didn't ask to be here. At the end of the day, even if they are adults, they still your grown ass kids. My mama is still my grown. It's still gonna be a mother to my grown ass 46-year-old person or whatever. So like just because I'm an adult doesn't mean that I lose the kind of reality that this is still my parent or whatever. So like I understand like you don't have the wherewithal to kind of support adult children for eternity. I get that. But like that's one thing. Like how does that manifest itself into you treating your kids like they don't exist to you?
Or saying that they're a product of sin. I think, again, it just really rubbed people. That rubbed me the wrong way. I think that was their wrong. Don't get me wrong. I agree with what Tyrese said, but I do agree that Brian McKnight was their wrong. And again, because the kids had kind of fallen back and not said anything. Now, initially, what started to go back and forth was the kids started blasting their father live on social media, and then Brian started responding. That's how it all started. But everything was quiet up until this past week when Brian McKnight said that they're a product of sin.
Right. He did that on somebody's social media post. I think somebody probably tagged him about something or whatever, and he responded. He didn't even have to respond to that.
He didn't have to respond.
You are 50, almost 60-something-year-old man. Like, why are you in the comments?
Right. Be the bigger person.
You too much of a celebrity to be in the comments, bantering back and forth with fans about your personal life.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about your personal life too? Like that's why we're here. To me, and then too, Brian McKnight is those kids' father. So you had a role in them. Like even if he wasn't present, well, if he wasn't present, that's even more of an issue. Maybe he wasn't present, and maybe he was just the fiduciary, just giving the money and just making sure he was good. But all the while I'm on tour, so I'm not being a father in the sort of sense of being a role model and being president and stuff like that. I did it for my financials. Who knows how it manifests? But like my thing is that like those are your kids. You created them. You form the life that they live and things like that. So whatever manifests from that point, eat it. That's your kids. You caused the lion's share of that, good, bad, or indifferent. Your decisions as a parent regarding those children led to a lot of the things that happened in your lifetime, led to the way those kids grew up and became adults and all those things. Like that's you. You play a role in that, so you can't absolve yourself just because they're a product of sin or whatever. They're not like they're not manifesting it out of the air. You put something into them, and now they're throwing it right back at you.
Yeah, that's a real good point. We want to hear your thoughts. I see that the comments are coming in. Someone commented, too many actors and rappers forcefully getting their wigs split and cheeks busted in the entertainment industry is getting out of control. Yeah, we really appreciate everyone's comments. Definitely want to hear from everybody on this hot topic, but we got some more stories to cover before we wrap up the show. Diddy, Diddy has had a horrible year. And we haven't really had a chance to really delve too much into it because we've only done like 2 shows this year. But, there's the whole sex trafficking allegations, Cassie settlement lawsuit, all this stuff has gone down in the midst of everything, the sexual allegations, his recent controversies. Diddy stepped up to share his message of resilience and strength in an IG post. Y'all check this out and we can talk.
Not hysterical. Not frantic, not anxious, not fretful, but steady in the storm. Looks bad, looks tough, but remain steady in the storm.
Oh, that was it? I didn't see it. I just knew there was a video. It's so ironic that TV Jakes is the voiceover for that too.
I know that's it. But what other preacher he gonna give? What preacher wants to be associated with Diddy at this point? I don't even think Jakes want to be associated with him. Did you ask TD? Could you use his voice? His sermon clip it. Did you get approval before you made that? Because I don't think anybody wants any sort of connection or relation to Diddy at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Bless his heart. There's some other stuff coming out. I know that Jaguar Wright has been continuing around a podcast sort of interview saying that some other stuff is coming. I hear other people, his bodyguard Eugene continues to make his rounds of telling his story on podcasts and that sort of thing. So I'm expecting something else to drop that will be a bombshell. Somebody saying, some people were saying that they're expecting that to be another blockbuster sort of music star that's going to be associated with it and connected eventually. I'm not going to say Jay-Z's name to say that somebody's saying that he might be associated, but allegedly. But that's what the streets is saying, is that like it's getting close and it's tightening around Diddy. And as it tightens around people, people begin to talk and other things get learned.
Yeah, other things get learned, but trust me when I say there is money right now that's being spent, money that's going under the tables.
Oh yeah,
and there's lots of hush money this just as we speak.
Is fighting for his life,
and NDAs are being signed for real, like new NDAs. So
that's what we ain't heard nothing from Farnsworth.
No, we haven't heard anything. But Farnsworth said, "You know what? I'm living my best life here in Atlanta.
I'm married.
I got kids. I ain't saying." See, there you go. There you go.
What? That was always the rumor. And then furthermore, never mind.
I ain't saying nothing. Boy, I tell you.
Allegedly.
We will follow this story. Everybody Mad Live podcast. Shouts out to everybody rocking with us. Hey, let's talk about this debate. We got another debate that's coming up. This time, we're turning our attention to the classrooms. A TikTok sensation known as, what is this? Thulliman One?
Yeah, it's
okay,
like
so
it's
he
like
shared.
the Illuminati or something. The Illuminati, but spelled T-I or something like that. I think.
Okay, because I was like, what is that? Okay, so I shared a video that has the internet buzzing. This is a viral clip that everybody's talking about that went down in a classroom from a male teacher getting his hair braided by his female students. Let's watch the video and then we'll talk.
Go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we? Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing, and people just made.
So let's do this. We're going to pause his because he explains himself in this or whatever. So what I want to do is just kind of set a little bit of the scene. I think it's about 5 young ladies that are in his class. Apparently, this happened Friday, 10 minutes before class. I guess he had done some previous work in talking to all the students. Well, some of those young girls were in his class. Some of them were not, but he said that he got approval and permission from the young ladies who were not in his class to be able to do that. But I guess he was just running on a time crunch that his hair appointment was immediately after school. So he had to get his braids taken down prior to that hair appointment or whatever. So he commissioned these ladies to be able to do that outside of school time. So kid in the class a little bit earlier because I guess they were on good behavior or whatever. And then as a part of that 10 minutes that was free time, they'd be able to either get on the mobile phone or go play games or do whatever they wanted to do. And these 5 young ladies, they helped him with his hair. So long story short, that's where we are with this particular situation. Some people were saying that this is a bit inappropriate. Because it's in school time. I've seen comments saying that I don't pay my kids to go, or I don't send my kids to school to do hair. I send them to school to learn and that sort of thing. So he's gotten good, bad, and indifferent. Some people have said that he connects well. As you can see, it looks like those ladies like him as a teacher at some point because they're willing to do that or whatever. So he was saying that this is one of the things to kind of make sure that I'm well connected to my students so that they know that I care about them so that they're more apt to be able to learn from me and be able to take the instruction a little bit better or whatever. So I'll start the sound back so we can finish off his version of what the story was.
For the whole child is what's important. Some of these students have been with me since I was a substitute 4 years ago. They see me as a big brother or a father figure, as some of them say. And me, I don't want kids of my own, so all of these kids are literally my children. And in case you're wondering about their parents, most of them follow me on social media and always talk about my videos with their kids. They always tell me that they're so grateful that their kids have someone like me in their life. In my admin, they're well aware of my social media presence and they love my videos. To me, this is just another wholesome moment that I'm having with my kids that I was fortunate enough to catch on film.
So he said it's a nothing burger.
I don't have an issue with it. Especially when he breaks it down like that too. And then on top of that said, we don't have enough black male role models in the public school system anyway. There aren't many black male teachers. You know that. Everyone knows that. So I just wish people would kind of like just fall back and just give him a break. Like, he's not doing anything wrong. Again, this was what you said 10 minutes before school was about to end, like this. And you know how it is on a Friday, school.
Ain't nobody doing no work.
They ain't working anyway. They just chilling and talking. So, I don't see the issue. I don't see the problem.
Yep. I think part of the issue is that like we're such a sexualized sort of society, so people can't even do anything that's nice without people making some sort of sexual connotation with it or whatever. Like it's almost like people were looking at it like he's sitting on the floor between these little girls' laps, or and they braid his hair like that or whatever. Like this ain't like poetic justice or one of your movie scenes to where like it starts like this and then it progresses
like
and
this,
gets to something. Like I didn't see anything like that. I think these girls like him as a teacher. They say that he's very active on social media. I don't follow him or whatever, but they say that he's active and really liked with a lot of the parents. A lot of the kids like him because of his approach or whatever. And he regularly gets commendations for his teaching style and the fact that the kids like him. And again, like you say, there's not a lot of black men in teaching profession, so I think having that black face is important. And then I look at it too, like just last week he was getting commendations and kind of accolades for some of the things he's doing in the classroom. And now just this one thing, and like now people want to turn on him as if they're forgetting the type of teacher that he has been up until this point based on one little instance or whatever. And I kind of hate that he's put in that particular situation to where he has to defend his style when clearly it looks like he's been effective at reaching these young people and getting them to think that he cares, number one. So that's the first step in being able to be an effective teacher, is to really learn how to connect to your students or whatever. And it looks like he's done a great job of that.
Yeah, he really has. I think he's done an amazing job too. You can leave your comments. We definitely want to hear your thoughts on this hot topic right here with the Everybody Mad live debate. And we got some more stories before we wrap up the show. The Riverfront Brawl swim hero has finally broken his silence to talk to the folks over at Comedy Hype about that infamous day that went down last year on the Montgomery Riverfront. Here's what he had to say.
You know, YouTube, we got to wait for the commercial, so I'm letting the commercial play out. Because we ain't gonna get them no free commercial on our page.
Right. We keeping it real professional on Everybody Mad.
Right.
Gators, snakes.
You knew that prior.
Yeah.
And what did you tell yourself? Like,
it's just when I told myself I had to do what I had to do, it was just get there in time to help.
Right. And you had your shoes on too.
Yeah.
I'm just, because as a person that watched it, I'm just like, I know I'm seeing all the risk, but I also understand when you feel compelled to do something in your heart. Would that be kind of accurate of like, you just kind of like zoned out on what you needed to like get accomplished? Like, what was that feeling?
It was just something, I was compelled to do it. I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried more about my friend getting harmed than myself.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see myself not helping out someone who I cared about. Just watching that. I couldn't just sit on the sideline and just watch that.
Yeah.
No doubt. I love to hear that. And you all have to put it into perspective. Again, he sees that this brother is getting jumped by a vicious group of racist white people, jumps in a river that's full of snakes and alligators. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't care, just to save this brother that needs help. You got to commend him. He is a hero. He is a hero for what he did.
And a teenager too, right? Like it didn't take moments for him to think about it, because I would have been on that side of the boat. Y'all stop! Y'all get off of him! Get off! Somebody help! Somebody help him! That would be me on the boat, because I'm not
right. And I sure would have jumped in the water. I would have tried to get over there some way, but I'm not jumping in no water full of water moccasins and alligators. That's for sure. But he did it. That's a hero. That's a hero right there. Man, he's to be commended. So anyway, you all check out. Said he'll probably put the full interview up.
Let's put it on our Facebook page.
On our Facebook page, and you can follow Comedy Hype too, because I like his interviews. He's really doing his thing with the interviews and stuff like that. So it's a real good interview. Very good interview. Said, it's funny. Everybody got an opinion.
Everybody like assholes.
Yeah. Opinions are like asshole. Everybody got one, and there was a TikToker. There's a TikToker that went in on Serena Williams talking about the way that Serena Williams dress and the way that Serena Williams looks. Let's play the video and then we'll talk.
But what's she looking like?
Let's play the video, then we'll talk.
On why Serena Williams always looks a goddamn mess. I ain't gonna give her too much because we know Serena Williams has experienced a lot of colorism and anti-blackness throughout her career. But me saying that she looks a goddamn mess is not rooted in colorism and misogyny. While it may not be constructive, it is a valid critique. It's really the wigs that do it for me. The wigs are always dry. They never really complement her skin tone. Her makeup always looks too damn light for her face. Her plastic surgery is unrecognizable. She got these damn fillers in her face, got her looking like Phaedra Parks. Her wardrobe is always ill-fitted. She never wears anything that complements her body. I'm tired of it. I'm almost positive that she has non-black people styling her. The people who are styling her do not know how to style dark-skinned black women. It's a fact. And then it's like, you're rich. Serena, you got way too much fucking money to be out here looking like this. You gotta represent. You gotta represent for the dark-skinned girlies. You've been looking a mess for the last 20 years and I'm fucking tired of it. I want her to take that goddamn blonde hair out of her head. You're not Beyonce. It's not giving. I want her to go back to her roots and start wearing natural hairstyles. Start wearing braids. You ain't got to wear the beaded braids, but start wearing more braided and more like natural hairstyles. I think that would compliment you a lot more. She needs to get a black stylist, preferably a black gay male stylist, and stop trying to look like a white woman. I'm sorry.
So when I first looked at the that's the first time I saw the video. I just looked at the thumbnail of Serena and
that was shady with the thumbnail. That picture that was the worst picture they could have used.
It really was. Look at it. Look at it. And like, girl, how you saying somebody look a mess? Looking like you looking. But
right.
But I now that I've heard the video, let me just bring up Exhibit A.
Okay.
So she got some points. Hold on, no, I want to see that. Let me see this.
Okay, right there. She don't look bad right there, but
I mean, but we're not on the face and zoomed in on the seer on that, but I think this is okay. But I don't like the dress. The dress is ugly to me.
Yeah, because that's a Christmas sweater dress, right?
It looked like it. Like it totally looked like an ugly Christmas sweater dress.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. So I don't think she lying because she
did kind of.
There are times when Serena is way too light with the makeup. Like she's not even in it, or what do you call when you make it your skin tone blending or something like that? Is it blending, contouring, something, whatever they're doing? But yeah, like her. But you can tell she's around a lot of white people. You can tell her husband's white. You can tell she probably has white stylists. She probably has a white person doing her hair.
Yeah. Oh, like look at that picture with her and her husband. Scroll up right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ugly. That's ugly, Serena.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and so
I'm surprised. I agree with that TikToker.
The TikToker kind of, she went in. She kind of told the truth. She looks good right there.
Now I'm not faulting her athletic looks when she's out there sweating or whatever, but when you,
the fillers,
it's the fillers. Yeah, but it's probably the sum of everything. It's the fillers. It's the poor makeup job. It's the bad hair.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. You got too much.
I think the TikToker was right that she needs
you got too much money to be looking like you looking.
Yeah, she needs a new stylist, preferably black one. So yeah, that's kind of interesting right there. Said, I know we got some videos of the week that we got to share with everybody before we wrap up the show. Israel-Palestine protests at college campuses, many universities right now, canceling classes or graduation.
They are.
Yeah, and at old Mississippi, things took a racially charged turn. Here's the video right here. Let's check it out and we'll talk.
What's that?
What a great recruitment video for the University of Mississippi.
I know.
And any black students they trying to get. And the funny thing, like Mississippi, well, they obviously are PWI, but I think they have almost 20% black people there.
Really?
Yes, either Mississippi or Mississippi State. One of the Mississippi universities have a good amount of black people attending college there.
It's horrible. Man, that's horrible.
So you're making monkey and ape noises at me, and I'm the only black female here at the
yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, they said they called her all sorts of N-words and obviously call her Lizzo and things referencing her weight and things like that or whatever. So yeah.
And what's sad is that these are gonna be all those students. Those are people that are gonna go out into this world.
That's our future.
Yeah, that's our future. They're going to go out into this world. These are going to be people that you work with on the job. These are going to be aspiring lawyers and doctors and just all. It's just insane. It's insane to see that. It's sad.
Yeah. 2024. Here's where we are. I used to be one of those pie in the sky sort of guys. Like when I was younger, like back probably in the 80s or 90s, and I was like, by the time I grow up and get like 40 or 50, racism will be gone because everybody who's racist will be probably dead by it. But
I know. I used to think the same too.
Those racists have done a good job of teaching their kids and their grandkids of how to continue their tradition, their time-honored tradition of racism right here in America. Thank you.
Very sad, very
generous white people for giving us racism.
I know, man. Yo, we really appreciate you all checking us out. This is the Everybody Mad Live podcast. You can check us out. So we're here on Thursdays, 8 o'clock. We try to be consistent with that, and we're going to be more consistent with that moving forward, just depending. Because again, we're lifing and we're adulting. But Seth and I, we've had conversations, and we're going to make sure that we try to be with you all.
We're going to give the people what they need because everybody need to be mad. Well, everybody is mad, so we're going to give you an outlet to be mad and channel that here through the show. But thank you for everyone who was a part of that. You can find me in between the show here at Say It Lover. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Well, I won't even lie to you and tell you I'm on Instagram. I got an Instagram account, I got a Twitter account, I got a Facebook account, but I don't really be on there. But I try. So if you do hit me on there, I should see the notification. I do check my Facebook though.
Yeah, and I'm Kenya Kabine1 on Facebook and Kenya Kabine on all other social media platforms. That's it for the show. Again, we'll check you all out next time real soon. Don't know how soon that will be, but it will be real soon. We're shooting for Thursday, right?
Yeah, we'll shoot for next Thursday or even every other Thursday.
Okay.
We can do some low-hanging fruit and make it a little bit easier on us or whatever. So yeah. Because I think Labor Day is coming up. Oh no, Memorial Day on the 27th coming up or whatever. So that'll be in 3 weeks or whatever. So thank you for rejoining the show as we rejoin the podcast world after a few months or whatever. So we will see you same time, another time in the future. We'll see. Appreciate y'all.